said Pilgrim. "How can that be a mistake? You haven't considered this," said Tripitaka. As the ancients declared, the rare object of art should not be exposed to the covetous and deceitful person. For once he sees it, he will be tempted. And once he is tempted, he will plot and scheme. If you are timid, you may end up yielding to his every demand. Otherwise, injury and loss of life may result, and that's no small matter. "Relax. Relax," said Pilgrim. "Old Monkey will assume all responsibility. Look at him." He did not permit any further discussion. Darting away, he untied the bag, and brilliant rays at once came flashing through the 2 layers of oil paper in which the garment was wrapped. He discarded the paper and took out the cassock. As he shook it loose, a crimson light flooded the room and glorious air filled the courtyard. When the various monks saw it, none could suppress the admiration in his heart and the praise on his lips. It was truly a magnificent cassock. It has hanging on it sparkling pearls, marvelous in every way, and Buddha's treasures in each aspect rare. Up and down spreads grapevine weave on gorgeous silk. On every side are hems of fine brocade. Put it on, and goblins will then be slain. Step in it, and demons will flee to hell. It's made by those hands of gods incarnate. He who's not a true monk dares not wear it. When the old monk saw a treasure of such quality, he was indeed moved to villainy. Walking forward, he knelt down before Tripitaka, and tears began to fall from his eyes. "This disciple truly has no luck," he said. "Old abbot," said Tripitaka, raising him up. "What do you mean?" "It was already getting late," he said, "when the venerable father spread this treasure out. But my eyes are dim and I can't see clearly. Isn't this my misfortune?" "Bring out the lamps," said Tripitaka, "and you can take a better look," the old monk said. "The treasure of the father is already dazzling. If we light the lamps, it will become much too bright for my eyes, and I'll never be able to see it properly." "How would you like to see it?" asked Pilgrim. "If the venerable father is inclined to be gracious," replied the old monk. "Please permit me to take it back to my room, where I can spend the night looking at it carefully. Tomorrow I shall return it to you before you continue your journey to the west." "How would that be?" Startled, Tripitaka began to complain to Pilgrim, saying, "It's all you're doing. It's all you're doing. What are you afraid of?" said Pilgrim, laughing. "Let me wrap it up and he can take it away. If there's any mishap, old monkey will take care of it." Tripitaka could not stop him. He handed the cassock over to the monk, saying, "You may look at it, but you must give it back tomorrow morning, just as it is. Don't spoil or damage it in any way." The old monk was very pleased. After telling the young cleric to take the cassock inside, he gave instructions for the various monks to sweep out the Chan hall in front. 2 rattan beds were sent for, and the bedding was prepared, so that the 2 travelers could rest. He gave further instructions for sending them off with breakfast in the morning, after which everyone left. Master and disciple closed up the hall and slept, and we shall say no more of that. We shall now tell you about the old monk, who had got hold of the cassock by fraud. He took it beneath the lamps in the back room and sat in front of it, bawling. The chief priest of the monastery was so startled that he dared not retire first. The young cleric, not knowing the reason for the weeping, went to report to the other monks, saying, "The aged father has been crying, and it's now the 2nd watch and he still hasn't stopped." 2 grand disciples, who were his favorites, went forward to ask him, "Grand Master, why are you crying?" "I'm crying over my ill luck," replied the old monk. "For I cannot look at the treasure of the Tang monk." One of the little monks said, "The aged father is becoming a little senile. The cassock is placed right before you. All you have to do is to untie the package and look at it. Why do you have to cry?" "But I can't look at it for long," said the old monk. "I'm 270 years old, and yet I have bargained in vain for those several hundred cassocks. What must I do to acquire that one cassock of his? How can I become the Tang monk himself? The Grand Master is erring," said the little monk. "The Tang monk is a mendicant who had to leave his home and country. You are enjoying the benefits of old age here, and that should be sufficient. Why do you want to be a mendicant like him?" The old monk said. "Though I'm relaxing at home and enjoying my declining years, I have no cassock like his to put on. If I can put it on for just one day, I'll die with my eyes shut, for then I shall not have been a monk in vain in this world of light." "What nonsense," said another monk. "If you want to put it on, what's so difficult about that? Tomorrow we will ask them to stay for one more day, and you can wear it the whole day. If that's not enough, we'll detain them for 10 days so that you can wear the cassock all that time. That will be the end of the matter. Why do you have to cry like this? Even if they were to be detained for a whole year," said the old monk, "I would only be able to wear it for 1 year. That's not long-lasting. The moment they want to leave, we will have to return it. How can we make it last?" As they were speaking, one of the little monks, whose name was Great Wisdom, spoke up. "Aged father, if you want it to last, that's easy too." When the old monk heard that, he brightened up. "My son," he said, "what profound thoughts do you have?" Great Wisdom said, "The Tang monk and his disciple are travelers and are subjected to a lot of stress and strain. So they are fast asleep now. I suppose a few of us who are strong could take up knives and spears, break open the Chan Hall, and kill them. We could bury them in the backyard, and only those of us within the family would know about it. We could also take over the white horse and the luggage, but the cassock could be kept as an heirloom. Now, isn't this a plan made to last through posterity?" When the old monk heard this, he was filled with delight. Wiping away his tears, he said, "Good, good, good. This plan is absolutely marvelous." He asked at once for knives and spears. There was in their midst another little monk, whose name was Big Plan, who was the younger classmate of Great Wisdom. Coming forward, he said, "That plan is no good. If you want to kill them, you must first assess the situation. It's easy to take care of the one with the white face, but the hairy face presents more difficulty. If for some reason you are unable to slay him, you might bring disaster upon yourselves. I have a plan that does not call for knives or spears. How do you feel about this, my son?" said the old monk. "What sort of plan do you have, in the opinion of your little grandson?" said Big Plan. "We can call up all the resident heads, both senior and junior, in the eastern wing of this monastery, asking each person and his group to bring a bundle of dried firewood. We'll sacrifice the 3 rooms of the Chen Hall and set fire to them. The people inside will be barred from all exits. Even the horse will be burned with them. If the families who live in front of the temple or behind it should see the fire, we can say that they caused it by their carelessness and burned down our Chen Hall. Those 2 monks will surely be burned to death, but no one will know any better. After that, won't we have the cassock as our heirloom?" When the monks heard this, they were all delighted. "Better, better, better. This plan is even more marvelous. More marvelous," they all said. They sent for the resident heads at once to bring firewood. Alas, this single plan will have the result of a venerable old monk ending his life, and the Guanyin Chen Hall reduced to dust. That monastery, you see, had over 70 suites and some 200 monks resided there. Hordes of them went to fetch firewood, which they stacked around the Chen Hall until it was completely surrounded. They then made plans to light the fire, but we shall say no more of that. We must now tell you about Tripitaka and his disciple, who had already gone to rest. That pilgrim, however, was a spiritual monkey. Though he lay down, he was only exercising his breath to preserve his spirit, with his eyes half closed. Suddenly he heard people running around outside and the crackling of firewood in the wind. This is a time for quietness. He said to himself, his suspicion fully aroused. So why do I hear people walking about? Could they be thieves plotting against us? Whirling around, he leapt up and would have opened the door to look outside, had he not been afraid of waking his master. Look at him display his abilities. With one shake of his body he changed into a bee. Truly he had a sweet mouth and vicious tail, a small waist and light body. He cut through flowers and willow like a dart. He sought like a meteor the scented pollen. His light, tiny body could bear much weight. His thin wings buzzing could ride the wind, descending from rafters and beams. He crawled out to get a clear view. He then saw that the various monks were hauling hay and carrying firewood. Surrounding the Chun Hall, they were about to light the fire. What my master said has really come true, said Pilgrim, smiling to himself. Because they wanted to take our lives and rob us of our cassock, they were moved to such treachery. I suppose I could use my rod to attack them, but I'm afraid they wouldn't be able to withstand it. A little beating and they would all be dead. Then master would blame me for acting violently again. Oh, let it be. I shall lead the sheep astray conveniently and meet plot with plot, so that they won't be able to live here anymore. Dear Pilgrim. With a single somersault, he leapt straight up to the South Heaven Gate. He so startled the divine warriors Pang, Liu, Go, and Bi that they bowed, and so alarmed Ma, Zhao, Wen, and Guan that they bent low. Good heavens! They cried.